Okay, we'll give it like 2 minutes to wait if anybody got a notification to join. All right. Uh, okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the third stream for building the COVID-19 tracker app. My name is Khalid, and today we're gonna continue what we have been doing for the last couple weeks, building this application. And today we will explore like some things to add to our application, like this adding the summary on top, because we have here, if you could see that we have the countries, and also in the API it was containing the total counts for the cases. So in every country, when we was doing an expansion or touching it, it was showing the rank, the confirmed cases, the recovered, and the death. And we need to take the totals of all the countries and put it on the top. And to do that, we will be using something called slivers. Also, we gonna format. We do some formatting because we need to put like some commas, like the formatting for the numbers. So to do that, I added a package in the pubspec file, and this package is Intel, and this is doing some Intel some formatting for the strings and the numbers that we can use. And we will start by applying this. So in the dashboard file, we will be importing the Intel import. So we'll be import the package. This is for the internationalization, yeah. And we will be doing a sample on that. So we will be formatting. Let's try first formatting the total number on the countries. So I will be doing a method down here. We'll name it format number, and this method taking format number. Okay. So we will be doing first, we need to declare a final formatter is equal, again added as a new, or we just make number formats, and we need it to be in a decimal pattern. So it will be number format is sorry, decimal, yeah, decimal pattern. And inside we will put the pattern that we will put it like EN, the localization for the EN US. Alright, and with that, we don't need to do this format number. And what we will do now is just we'll take the formatter and we'll make a format for the string. So we will come up to the trading, And what we will do here is that we will add that for the confirm it, so it will be a formatter dot format, and we will be formatting the total number. So we will save that, and it should give us a hot reload, and we should see the effect. And as you may see here, if it's not clear, I will be zooming it. As you may see here, now the number have been formatted as format separation, so for easing the reads. So we will apply that to the other numbers down, but I want to do something. I will be doing some extraction for the widgets here, so we can put it as a method and then pass these values and the colors as a parameters inside. So to do that, I'll be getting one of them, and what I will do here is I will just hover on it. We'll do control command dot, and we will make extract in a method. So I will be saying this is build text, or we can build detail text. And now it should be extracted. Let's check down. Again, I'm having some issues with the stream and developing the app, so bear with me. Inside that, I will be adding some values. So instead of passing this, I will be changing that. I will be passing the count, and I will be passing a color, and I will be passing a text, which is a string. Oops. Okay, and so I will be wrapping this inside a padding. And the reason that I put parentheses here is to make it a named parameter. So when I'm passing to the method, I will be specifying what is the name of the what is the parameter for count, so I can pass it as a count, color, and the text. So I will be doing wrapping this inside padding, and I will make a padding not all. I will make it symmetric, and I will do it for the vertical. I will put it like 10, because I will be removing the sized box, so it can be from top and down. It should be normal. Okay, and this is a child. Inside the child, I will say the name here should be the text. I will add it as string interpolation text, and I will be removing that, and I will remove this, and I will put it as count. And also the color, I will remove the default one, make it green color. Okay, so I don't know what's completing. The wedding can be child. It is because it says return type of text. Okay, so this is the return type, so I'm returning. I will be returning a widget. Okay, save. And also I need to this build text, so I will be replacing every element here with that thing. And to ease the naming for us here, I'll be this is the item count. I'll make like something called item, and item var item, and item is data in this countries. So I will be replacing all that, and I will click Command C, Command D, the shortcut. I will just remove it with item, replace it with item, and here and up I will be saying item is data dot countries of I. Sorry, index. Okay, now I have replaced all that index, and down I will be start putting our method instead of that. So I will be removing the size box. So I have first the ranking, so I will be replacing first the ranking. So I will make build little text, and I will put the color is color dot black. I will be adding the count as index +1, and I will be adding the text as rank. And once I've done that, I can just remove this pause. I'll be adding remove that. So I have the confirmed, the recovered, and this I will do the same for all. So in the sake of speeding this up, I'll be adding a comma here, removing it from here. I'll be adding 4 more, 3 more I mean. So I have a second is confirmed also black. The confirmed is item dot should come as a confirmed. Confirmed. The other one is item dot recovered, and the last one is item dot this is, and for the color, of course, here is red, here is green, black, and here we write confirm it, recovered, and this is okay. Okay, so I will be saving that, and we should not see much effect because we just done some extraction, so it should be more or the same. Yeah, we have it now. It's a little bit okay. Yeah, we see that there is like some height issue, so we can make here, for example, instead of making it 10, we can make it as 5. We'll try that. The line spacing is a little bit wide. Okay, this is a little bit better. Okay, now we will apply the formatter. So we will come here and we need to wrap this as we will be. So what we will do is for matter dot format, and we will put the count inside. So all the numerics should be coming at the same formatting that we specified as a decimal formatting, and should take the reflect now. So we'll be applying hot reload. And now we see it, as you may see now. Let's zoom it a little. Yeah, you can see the separation, the comma separator between the numbers, so it's much easier to read after applying the formatter. Okay, so next, as I mentioned, if we check the API, we will be seeing the totals. So we have here the dates, the countries, and in each country there is all the fields which we are getting the data for each country, the US, the country code, the country name, and all other numbers, and we have the totals down. So what I was thinking that to do is that we can put a nicer look in the top of the countries, that we put the summary, so we can show the total number of the confirmed, the total number of the recovered, deaths, etc. So to do that, we can just put a data list on top of data list like that, because we are using here a data list. What we can do is that we can use slivers. So what is exactly is a sliver? Sliver is a portion that can be scrolled, and we can add this portion in our application through a custom scroll panel. So to do that, we need to replace the data list from a normal data list to a sliver list. Okay, so I will be doing one more widget extraction to make it in the method. So I will take this expansion tile because it's so long. I will extract it inside a method. So I will be pressing again command dot, and I will make extract method, and I will name it, this is the build expansion tile. I will apply that, and now our list, give it a little bit to format. So I'll just do a Control S. It should not look like that. Yeah, now we have our list view is compact, so it should be easier to us to read. All the detail of the expansion added inside the expansion tile, which taking the item and the index to do whatever it's doing inside our expansion. So I will be adding a custom scroll, and to add it, I will be added after as a child of the refresh indicator. So I'll be replacing that with a sliver list. So first I will be adding custom, sorry, custom scroll, custom scroll view. I believe it's more or less should be yeah, something wrong with this thing. Okay, so on the custom scroll view, we will check what it takes. It takes something called slivers. So slivers is the lists that we can add inside, or like as I mentioned, as a portion, scrollable portion that we can add inside the custom scroll view to build up these scrolls on top of each other. And we can add, for example, something called a sliver app bar, which is making like an app. It's same like an app bar, but it can be expanded and it can be pinned when we do the scrolling. So we can replace our normal app bar with this sliver app bar. Also, we can do or we can add sliver list or sliver grid. So I will be replacing the list view with a sliver list. So we'll be adding inside the sliver, we'll add a sliver list. And the sliver list take some parameters. First parameter we will be adding is the child count. No, it's taking a delegate. Delegate is responsible for building the list behavior, or the sliver list behavior. So we'll be adding a sliver child builder should be sliver child builder delegate, and it's complaining sliver sliver child builder delegate, and the sliver child builder delegate takes a context and an index, and it return sorry, should be returning our expansion tile. So we'll be doing here is we will be taking the build expansion tile, copy, as we will be adding that item also. So this is our item with the index. Okay, so I'll be dimming that. I will be commenting this code. Also, we need to specify the child count, which is same as we added here. It's the data dot countries dot length. And now we're doing a hot reload. We should not see any much difference, but inside the application itself, now we will be able to add some other lists on the top or and down as a slivers, so we can customize the view. So same as we might see is almost same. There is no much big difference between the previous normal list view and the sliver list, but now we'll be able to add other slivers on top or down the sliver to make it customizable. So I will be adding a sliver grid on the top, and the sliver grid is basically same as the sliver list, but it can be in grid format. So you can add, for example, 2 items in a row and make this based on the items that we're adding expand down. So I will be adding 4 items. Should be the total number, the confirmed cases, the recovered, and the deaths should be like that. Should be in like some boxes. So I will be building now the sliver grid, and I don't have a dynamic list for that. So I already have the fixed number. So what I will do is just I will be adding this 4 items inside the sliver grid. So to do that, I will be doing the sliver grid. So I will be adding here sliver grid, and the sliver grid takes a grid delegate. The grid delegate is a sliver grid delegate, and also inside that I will be just adding this is a sliver delegate, and inside that I will be specifying should be sliver delegate sliver grid delegate was fixed. Yeah, because we need to worry. There is an option here, sliver grid delegate with option with fixed cross axis. Fixed count, yeah, that's all. And inside that I will be specifying the cross-axis count. The cross-axis count, in that case, I will be adding 2 items. And also the child aspect ratio. The child aspect ratio is the height and the width aspect ratio of the relation between the height of the item to its width. So we'll leave it empty for now, and we'll customize it based on that, but I believe it's requiring this. Also, it's requiring a delegate, and inside the delegate, now I will be adding a sliver child list delegate inside that. Sliver child list. And this should take a list of items inside. So I'll be saving that. Check. Yeah, it should be taking a list of items. And we have like an error here because we didn't have a comma. So now everything. Now on the hot reload should nothing be shown here, but we actually added a sliver grid on the top. So I will be start adding 1 item so we can see it in action, and I'll be using a material because I will be making like some shadow on the back, and I will make the gravity of it a little bit away. So material, and in the material I will make elevation 10, so it should be like a little bit raised up with a shadow and down, and I will make the child let's put a child like a text so we can see total number. Let's see that if you make a hot save and make a hot reload, as you may see now, we have an item on top of our list that we defined. So let's tune it a little bit so we can make it a little bit nicer look, and then we can do that for the rest. We can make it as a method and do it for the rest of the grid that we will be using. So instead of adding the text, I will be adding a column, and inside the column I'll be adding children, and for the children I will be adding a text as a title, so it will be the title that we will be using, and then I will be adding the count, and that's it. I think text of the count, which is for example 100, like that, and then we replace it with normal. What I will be doing also, I will be setting the main axis alignment as a space between, so it can fill up this thing. Space around. Yeah, space around. Space around it will be up and down. Space between will make the space between them. So I'll make it space around. And let's save and check. Also, I'll be centering them. So yeah, now it's coming as it as a vision. So what I will do now is I will add some styling. So I will be adding style, and for the style I will be adding text style, and for the text style I will be adding color, which will be color dot black colors, and font weight should be font weight bold, let's save. Also I'll be applying a style down, copy, paste, but here I will be adding a font size also, as 22. and let's save and see what it would looks like. Yeah, and now it's showing the title and the font down here. So what I will do now is I will take this material and I will extract it as a method, as a summary card. Uh, Before doing that, I might do something here to make it a little bit nicer. What about adding this in card? So I'm doing the elevation here. So I will be wrapping the column inside the card. So I will add a widget here. Wrap with a widget, and I'll put it inside card. And the card itself should have elevation. So I can change that at all and make it as cards. Yeah, but leave the material because we might do some effect on the radius, border radius. Let's check the radius. I think it has a border radius here, yeah, 10. Let's make it 10 or 20. Check how it will affect that. Also, put back the elevation. Also, border radius, it will not work like that. Border radius take a radius. Take a radius, so add circular. And take a border radius to circular. Circular, we'll make it circular, yeah. Put it like 10. Sign. Check the effect. Yeah, now it's having like some radius. I'll make it to 20 so it can be a little bit shown. Yeah, looks like it has also, it doesn't have a padding, but we can wrap it inside a padding so we can have the item. Yeah, now it's there is a little bit padding, if you might see that. Let me zoom it a little bit. So as you may see here, the borders is have a radius I added now, and also there's a padding around the item, so if we added other items it would be a little bit much visible. So to proceed from this, I will be taking that and extracting this as a method, and I will say this is build summary card, for example. Build a summary card. Okay, the build summary card. Now we will parameterize this thing. So I will go down to the build summary card. What I will parameterize is the color, the text, and the count, same as we done there. So I'll be taking that faster. So I'll taking that. So I'll be taking the title. I will, instead of title, I will be adding the text, and the color I will be adding our color, and here will be the count. So I will be adding count, but don't forget that we need to format it. So I will be taking that formatter.format. I'll be formatting the count, and also will be adding this as a color. Okay. And let's take the build summary card method, and we'll be adding our parameters. So the first we'll be adding the color. Let's be adding the text first. Text will be total. Then the color will be colors dot black. Then we will take the count, and the count here should be data dot, and data should give us access to the item that we're using up here, which is I think it's not active. Add active. Yeah, active. No, the confirmed cases. Yeah, confirmed. This is the confirmed. So I'll save that. So this is the confirmed number. Now we have the total, and this is, we'll name it a confirmed. So as we make it a confirmed, I will not name it total. I will make it a confirmed. Confirmed. This is confirmed, and I will build this 3 more for the active, the recover, the this. 1, 2, 3. So we have active, which is, we'll make it black, leave it black, or I'll leave it blue. Active. Okay. And recovered. Green. Recovered. And this. This is that. Also, I'll be fixing down inside the expansion here. I don't need the confirmed, I need the active. So I'll make this green, blue, and I'll make this active. So I'll be saving all that, and we should see here in the grid 4 items or 4 boxes or 4 cards containing our confirmed, active, recovered, and this. So it's syncing now. So yeah, now it's showing our summary here, as you might see. And down here we have the total. So we have here the confirmed cases, the active, the recovered, and the deaths. So by far we done the summary on top, but as you may see that this is a little bit big and we have a bigger spaces. So we will go back to the grid, sliver grid, and here I will be adding the child aspect ratio, which is the aspect ratio between the width and height, and I will make the width should be 2 times as the height, so I'll make it like a 1.5. I will try that, and I will save. Let's see what it will be. Now a little bit much better. So as you might see here, it might be a little bit roundy here, so I will be reverting the radius. I'll make it 10. I'll check if it's a little bit nicer instead of like big 20. Yeah, I believe now it's a little bit much nicer. Okay, I'll be changing this color to like a deep orange or something, to change the effect of the normal Flutter apps. And we'll give it a little bit theming. So I will be changing that from the theme data, the primary swatch that controlling the primary color inside the application. This is our primary color, so I'll be changing so it might be a little bit different than the normal blue that we added here. So as you may see here, now it's coming all together, and we have our application working with the summaries on top. We can add also the date of fetching, so we can know the date or the time of fetching because we have it already. So I will be adding this extra thing. I think we are running a little bit out of time. So what I will do here is I will be adding a sliver list, and for that I will be adding between both, and the sliver list will take a delegate, and the delegate would be sliver child list delegate, sliver child list delegates, yeah, and I will just add a list inside of items. Separator here, save, and inside I'll be adding a text of fetch date and I will be adding the date, which is coming from data dot religious date, and I will be adding this with a padding on top. So I will be wrapping it with padding. I'll make it symmetric. I'll make it also again vertical. I'll put it as a 10, and because it will be starting from here, so I will be wrapping this inside the center, because it will be starting from the beginning if I'm adding like that. So I'll be wrapping the text inside the center widget. I can just make center, and I will satisfy the child. Center. And we should save now, and we should do the hot reload, and what we will see, the date will be displayed between the two lists, between the grid and the sliver list, the sliver grid and sliver list. Yeah, as you can I might see here, this is the fetch feed. So this is the result date. The result date between here, and let's make it carry it. And down still the application behave the same. We have here the summary on top. We still have our poll to refresh. So when we do this polling, it gets us the recent result. As you might see now, the result have been changed because the numbers have been updated. And we have here the expansion tile, which shows the result for every case and country. Okay, so we done the widget extractions, that we wrapped some widget inside methods so we can clean up and ease up the readability of our code, and also we added some custom scrolls parts inside our application through the custom scroll view with slivers, which is the sliver is a custom scroll part that can be scrolled inside our application. And now we will be adding a little bit animation. And what I was thinking, that when the application launch or first time the result is fetched, we can make this boxes coming like expanded in size or grown up from small to big, with like bouncy thing. And to do that, we need to do some animation, and an animation in Flutter can be classified or categorized as an implicit animation and explicit animation. And if we're speaking about implicit animation, this animation like plays some widgets already made that you can just put it inside your application, and it can when you do a set state and you're changing the value of some property of that animation thing, it can change the animation from itself. So it's easier, and it's like to go just like to do like some fade in or fade in text or fading some widget, or you can do just like change some properties of a container, for example. So you have, for example, in implicit animation, you have something called animated opacity and animated container that you can just add it, and when you do the set state, you put an initial value, and when you do a set state and change this value, you put it in a parameter, for example, the opacity, you put it as inside as a parameter, and you do a set state and you just change the value of the opacity, that parameter, from, for example, from 0 to 1. It starts to do the animation from itself. So this what implicit animation is. The explicit animation coming, you have more control of the animation that you are displaying inside the widget. So to do this, you need to do it with an animation controller, and also there is some animation translation, like, for example, the fade translation, fade transition, and the rotation transition. You change the properties inside using this animation control by binding the animation controller inside, and you specify the duration and all that, and you the curve, even the curving of the animation, how it's starting and how it's ending, and you have more grain control about how the animation is working. So in our example here, or in our application, we'll be using explicit animation, as I will be animating this the summary. I'll make it like little bit popping up when it starts. So to do that, I will be declaring on the top under our state here, I will be declaring animation controller. I will name it controller. So this is animation controller. Also, our class need to have something to do the sync, because there is a sync option inside the animation that we need to do, so it can refer to itself. So something called single ticker mixin. So it's a mixin that it provides the animation to be performed inside the vsync value here. So we have here the animation controller. We will initialize it inside the init method, and of course, to use animation, you use it only on stateful widget, not use it on stateful widget. So in the animation controller, make a new animation controller. And we'll be specifying the vsync. The vsync is, as I mentioned, which is responsible of doing and maintaining the animation, and we extended, or we added a mixin to our state. So the vsync, as it did, this is the creates animation here. This is the ticker provider, and we will be specifying also the duration, how long the animation will be taking place. And for the duration, we'll make it for millisecond, like 500 millisecond. And I believe that's it. So now we have the animation controller is ready, and what we can do is we will be wrapping our build summary card here, this padding thing. We'll wrap it with scale transition. So I'll be wrapping this with scale. So I'll be scaling this from some value to the other value. And scale transition will be taking a scale and this is what we will be animating here. So we need to animate the scale. We will be animating the scale and the scale I will animate it through a tween. Tween animation. Which is a double of type double. And the tween, it has a start and it has a begin and it has an end. So it's beginning from 0 and ending to 1. So I'm animating it so it can start like very small and then to the maximum value, which is 1. I'll make a comma here so it will be, and I will pass for it who will do the animation, which is the animation controller. So I will be passing the controller here. Yeah, the controller. And it's still showing red. Various items can be returned from a method build summary card because it's saying I will return it as a widget. Okay, to fire the animation, now the application might crash because we didn't even initialize this controller, because we need to do a full hot restart for the application. The hot reload will not work. So we might see now a big error coming. Yeah, as you might see here, there's some errors coming now. We can't render anything because of that. And I will just do a hot restart. And our application is loading now, as you might see, but our animation or our widgets here didn't start. Why is that? Because we didn't initialize or forward this controller to start. So to do that, I will be doing it inside the init state. I will say controller dot forward. It will still not be shown here because the init state is done when first the application is first run, or the screen or the widget first shown here. So there's nothing here. We need to do again a hot restart so we can see the effect. Now it's showing, but it's not so much because we have like some slowdown here. So I'll be making it a little bit longer. So I'll make it like 3 seconds. So you might see the growing effects when it's coming. And I will be restarting the application, so because it's only shown for one time when it's shown. We will be adding it also on the get data method, so we can reset this animation and do it when we do the refresh. So let's see. Hopefully the application will start, and yeah, as you might see now, this was grown. If you might see, I will be adding this in the get data method, so I will be copying that. I will be resetting the animation and adding it in the get data. So once I get the data, and I will check if data not equal null, I'll be doing that, but I will be resetting the controller. So if I done it like this, go inside the set state, I'll remove this from here, and I will be from getting the data, so no need to add it to start it from here. So if I pull to refresh, as you might see, it's coming like that. See, now it's taking 3 seconds to increase. I'll be doing it like a 2 second or like 1 second. Now let's put it back as a 500, half a second. But if I change it, this was an end state, I need to do a hot restart because this value will not be reflected until I do a hot restart. The widget has to be lost its state and reload from the beginning. So I'll do a restart here. I'll be doing a hot restart, and we should see the animation fire in the beginning. Application should be loading. It was so much fuss, we didn't see it because it's half a second, but if you will do a refresh, you might see it now. If you need to make it giving like a little bit bouncy, like expanding a little bit more than the normal size and coming back, we need to use some curves, and to do that we will be using a curved animation. So I will be we will be adding an animation. Let's do this. We will add an animation, not animation controller, an animation, normal animation. This is for a curved animation. So we'll name it animation or curved animation. And I will initialize that inside our inState. So the curved animation will be curved animation, and the curved animation take a curve and a parent. The parent should be the controller itself. So I will add the parent as the controller that we made already. And the curve, this is the curve that the animation will behave on it. So if we will open and we will do Flutter animation curves, you might see some curves here which showing you how the animation will start and how the animation will end. So for example, this is a pound-cent in animation, so it's a start like that and then increase. So as you can see that this is a scale. So we're doing the scale one, so it's a little bit zoom. So this is our scale if we will do the curves that we will specify. This is a bounced in. Okay, let's stop that. This is bounced out. This is our case if it will be in our scale transition. And we have also bounced in out. This is in out. This is bounce out. So make this is the bounce out. This is bounce in out. So we might be making it out or inside out. Also there's some curves like decelerate and ease, and there's an ease in out, there's ease in quad. So there is a lot of curves that you might use, and you can experiment which curve that can work for your animation, which curve can work for you. I'll be doing ease out, ease in, quad out, quad up, copy. So what I will be using, a bounce in out. So let's try this curve. So back to our VS Code. I'll make it curves. Good. Bounce in out. And now we have the curved animation. We will assign this to our animation instead of the controller. So we'll go down to the scale transition and we'll animate it through our curved animation. We have an error here, I think, because we didn't put a column. Now we're doing a hot reload, but we need to do a hot restart so we can initialize the curve and do all this process. So So we have some errors. We need to do a full hot restart. So the application loaded. I will just do a refresh to check the animation. As you might see, it's coming nicely. So this is our curved animation. And by that, I'll be ending this stream. So to recap everything, we started by adding a formatter to our um, numeric values here for the numbers. After that, we started to extract some widget. We started with the text here, and we make a method for that widget that we can pass the parameters, which is the text, the count, and the color, and that can be built all over. And after that, we converted or removed our data list and confirmed used custom scroll view to add slivers, which is parts that can be scrolled inside our application. So we replaced the list view with a sliver list, and we added the summary on top using the sliver grid. We defined also a summary card method, which taking also the text, the numbers, and text number and the color, and we built the 4 widgets here. Then after that, we added a list view down containing the date, and we started doing the animation for the initialization animation for this summary cards using explicit animation. We specified animation controller, and then we used a scale transition, and in the scale transition we added a twin that it has a beginning from 0 and end with 1, and we connected that to our controller, and we started the animation by making a controller.forward. After that, we move the controller.forward to the get data method, so we can do it on every refresh that we do it in the poll refresh, and as it's already done in initialization of the application in init state. After that, we added some curve to our animation using changing or using something called curved animation. So we specified the parent, which was the animation controller, and we added a curved animation. We have a lot of curves inside the animation that Flutter provide. You can check that by checking the Flutter docs. And we choose the bounce in out animation, and we replaced the controller inside the scale transition with the curved animation. And with that, I would be ending my stream for today. Now our application is taking shape, and it's better than we have been started. We have most all the features that we need to track the numbers. We have the summary, we have the countries, we have the details of that countries. We might expand this in a little bit more in future. We're adding some other features. For example, we might add animation when entering each element here. For example, that it will be loaded with animation, not coming from right to left or whatever the animation would be. With that, I will be ending my stream for today. I hope I was as much as informative as you would expect. And if you like my video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave your questions and comments down. I will be happy to reply and get back to you soon. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.